back into order. It is continued from February 17th of 2022. This hearing is being called to order by myself, John Hamercheck. This hearing is being held in accordance with Section 5553.05 of the Ohio Revised Code for the primary purpose of hearing comments on the proposed vacation of 982.06 feet of Old Drummond Road in Leroy Township and 2,454.30 feet of Drummond Road in Perry Township, and this hearing will be recorded. Any persons wishing to comment on the proposed vacation of 982.06 feet of Old Drummond Road in Leroy Township and 2,454.30 feet of Drummond Road in Perry Township is invited to speak at this time, or an agent may speak on their behalf after stating their names and address in full in a clear and distinct voice for the record. Do we have anyone wishing to address us today? Anyone at all? All right. The board will now receive written comments on the proposed road vacation at this time. Madam Clerk, do we have any written comments?
We do not have any written comments.
Okay. And Dave, anything you want to add to this? I believe we have everything in order, and the concerns of the last meeting, I believe, have been addressed.
Yeah, the concerns from the last meeting have been addressed, and the county engineer has submitted the report on the vacation, so it's all ready to go.
Very good. Engineer Gills, anything you want to add, sir?
Not at this time.
Very good. Thank
Mr.
you.
President?
David, thank you. Yes, sir.
If I could just say I'm really grateful to our Lake County engineer, Jim Gills, for working hard to resolve this issue with the residents. Anytime you do anything, it's impactful with respect to roads. And so I know there was some trickiness with the metro parks and how far the snow plowing went, and I'm grateful that your team is on it. So just wanted to say thank you for navigating that while making sure we still qualify for the tens of millions of dollars for the Drummond Road Bridge. That's mission critical too.
Sir.
I'll comment. I cannot take the bows for that. My chief deputy, who is in the room, Tracy Sokowitz, has done all the legwork and made all the arrangements and made me shine.
Well, that she did.
Very good.
Just a quick question.
Sir.
So I take it then that means that nothing is at risk in reference to the 20 or so million that could be questionable at some point down the road if we handled this improperly.
Not at this point.
Okay. And what we're doing now would alleviate that the possibility of that.
Yes. On you. As long as we pass, and follow the environmental document and our commitments, then we're good to go. And with this, the way we have it now set up and everything, and satisfied that one residence, we are right on track with the environmental document and ready to move forward.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing further, additional written comments on the subject may be sent to the clerk of the Board of Lake County Commissioners, 105 Main Street, 5th floor, Building A, Lake County Administration Center, Painesville, Ohio, 44077, until 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. At this time, I will close the hearing, and Madam Clerk, please note the time. Thank you. All right, and if our technician's okay with it, I'll just roll right into our commissioner meeting. Very good. Okay, well, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today for the 8th meeting of the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use our directives for the common good, and for thy honor and glory. And Lord, please keep in mind the hearts and the fortunes of those in the Ukraine that are suffering at this time. Our world is in a time of turmoil, and we recognize your sovereign power. Please, Lord, you know their needs. We ask that you provide the same. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Present.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Very good. We have before us the meeting minutes for the regular meeting of January 27, 2022, February 3rd, February 10, and 17 of 2022. Do I have a motion to approve same, waiving the reading thereof? Please. Okay, what am I missing?
Motion to approve.
As I look to the clerk and then legal very quickly, my colleagues and their big smiles here.
We're having a little fun with these.
Apparently, thank you.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. I'll throw
I guess I'll second
you
that.
guess you'll second. Thank you. All righty, but you see, ladies and gentlemen, you see how I look to first, our clerk and then legal. See, she's actually shadow government. Okay, any discussion on that? None? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
I think I'll go with yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you. All righty, this brings us to our first public comment portion. We do have I believe, a presentation of public interest. Mr. Allega, would you like to
Sure.
jump in with your team and
If we can get on screen.
share this exciting project that's being considered?
Thank you, Commission. First, I want to comment you and appreciate the Pledge of Allegiance. You don't know how many meetings I go to all over the United States, and half of them will not let us do that no more.
Wow.
It's just a shame, but thank you. I want to start off by just giving you a little presentation where Cedar Hills Transformation Camp Alpha House is operating at. What's
And
going
for those who are
on?
monitoring, we actually are live streaming, so if you could use the microphone, please.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Can I just use this one?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. This drawing up on the board shows you currently the corner of Rumen Road and I-90. So the property we own currently is most of the southeast corner. The roadway has been presented to, you see the roadway, oh, I gotta lose my pointer. We presented this roadway to Lake County engineers, and it's on hold right now waiting for a delineation. That roadway will feed the traffic into Cedar Hills along this route here. Cedar Hill is currently operating right now using this easement through our property on 15 acres. They own currently about 140 acres back there, which is mostly the green space that was given to the parks several years back. Next slide. This is the proposed roadway that's in Lake County Engineers' hands now. Again, it's on hold until the delineation done. The whole site was delineated, but they actually are going to get a delineation of just the property around the roadway. Next slide. This is actually where Cedar Hills Transformation Camp operates, on about a 15-acre plateau. We currently have a facility with 36 beds there, a director's house, a chapel, several cabins, some utility facilities, and a water system and a septic system. Next. These are some slides we're going to show you. This is our proposed 100-bed facility that we're looking to push in as soon as possible. Part of this delay right now is, of course, funds. We've been fundraising for years, and we put about $2 million of this property into the roadways, improvements, the new existing water system, the existing facilities. Next slide. This is just another view of what it's going to look like. You'll see that the new facility will attach to the old facility. Our intention is to take the new facility and make it the residence beds, and the old facility be the workers, or the people who actually take care of the residents who live in the old facility in actually the rooms that the clients are living in today. A proposed gym basketball court, something we really need. If you look at our workout room right now, it's a small little workout room in an old garage. It's fixed up pretty nice, but we want to expand it. We need somewhere for these men to have physical activity after camp counseling and off-site counseling. They need somewhere to actually move around and have some facilities. They do a lot in the site now with volleyball and outdoor activities, but in the wintertime, they're pretty much trapped inside. This is kind of a layout of our new facility. You'll see the housing will be up along the park, so everybody will have a view of a courtyard or the parkland, which is still our land. They'll have showers, a fellowship meeting area, the gymnasium, exercise room, and a brand new dining hall and dining kitchen will build. We have improved our kitchen we have currently now. It's a commercial kitchen, but we want to build a bigger one because one of the things we want to teach some of the candidates is culinary schooling. As we're doing a lot of crafts out there. We're teaching welding, we're teaching landscaping, we're teaching woodwork. So we're trying to get them into some types of crafts so that when they do leave the society, they can go back out in real society and get a job. This is the layout of a little better picture, which you can see the layout of the existing facility right now, our kitchen and our apartment for our on-site director, and this is the living areas. This is what we're proposing with future. We'd like to put it all in one time. It's 100 beds. Then I want Mark to do a little presentation of what we actually do out there.
Oh, absolutely.
To give you an idea. So Mark, if you would come up, and we can bounce back and forth to pictures anytime you want. Sure.
And Mark, if you could give your name and title, so again, those watching.
My name is Pastor Mark Merlahan. I'm the ministry director on staff.
Thank you, sir.
So just a little information, statistically, since opening here, the following statistics. We have two directors, Director of Facility, Michael Rosalette, and Director of Ministry, myself, Pastor Mark Merlahan. Current staffing of 7. We are currently a 36-bed facility. We are currently at 33 residents. We have 3 openings, and that's always a fluctuation. There are those that are graduating, those that are not, that decide to leave early. So we'll probably never be full, but that will fluctuate. We've had a total in 1 year of 109 residents in our 6-month program. The average time of stay, again, fluctuates. Quite a few have left early due to stimulus checks, COVID, and family emergencies. Approximately 44 men have left the program early. Statistically, the first 2 months we had 12 beds full. In the 4th month, April, we went to 24 beds full. Then August 21st, 2021 to present, we have been full or near full. Needless to say, winter presents those opportunities and they need a place to go, and so we're always there to accommodate and try to help. We have had 37 graduates since opening, 57%. We're projecting a 65% graduation rate because we're projecting 15 are going to graduate in April. We have 9 students who have gone through our vocational school, which includes the welding program. We have certified 2 students thus far, and we wish to do more. We also have certified 7 folks in our CDCA program, which is the clinical side of the Chemical Dependency Counselor Assistant. And so we're finding more of these who have been in the trenches now want to help other men in the trenches, and that's now their purpose. And this is the best part of this whole program, is them finding their purpose. They're realizing they can give back. We've had, we've had 9 previous residents actually return, and we believe in second chances for those who were sincere but left early due to COVID, stimulus checks, or family emergencies. So we're always trying to help where we can. Our structured resident living program, just so you know, it is very structured. They are busy all day long. Morning clinicals at the Genesis Center from 8 until 12, Monday through Friday. They get professional master's degree clinical counseling with the partner at the Genesis Center. They return to our facility, they have lunch, then after that they get a small afternoon break, then they do afternoon chores, and then they have a 4:30 to 5:30 class. Then there's dinner. After dinner there's an evening break. Then in the evening they have another class. And then there's a small break. They do chores again. Then there's what we call evening gratefuls. This is something that we meet with them every single night at 8:30 to sit around and talk about what we're grateful for. We want them to learn that the glass is half full, not half empty. So then we do lights out at 11 p.m. We provide a chapel service every Wednesday evening in lieu of one of those classes. And then we do chapel service every Sunday. Saturday, they get to sleep in. There's a brunch at 10:30 a.m. We have family visits for those who qualify from 10 to 4 p.m., 5:30 dinner, evening chores, lights out at 12 a.m. on Saturday evening. Sunday, as I mentioned, chapel at 10:30, brunch at noon. The day is a rest day. Dinner at 5:30, free time until lights out again at 11 p.m. If I may take a moment, 1 minute to read a text we got this morning from a gentleman that is in our program. It is, again, it'll take me about a minute to read, but I think it's important for you to hear.
Yes.
Thank you. It's officially been 1 week at the Alpha House for me as of yesterday, and trying and wanting to believe in something or someone called God or a God. Well, at first I didn't see myself changing my beliefs by any means. I mean, I have a higher power, which I knew was a powerful thing. I mean, look at the universe, look at everything. But a name to this power has never interested me. I still thought something was greater than myself. I have always believed in coincidences. In fact, that a sign I see or even feel have been some of my greatest experiences in my life, and by far nothing but positive choices. That inner voice has never been wrong, and in fact, when I have looked back to the times right before I made every mistake, I can remember that inner voice reminding me, slowing me down in hopes that maybe change the choice, which the test I'm about to fail, and did. It's moments like that, before and after my conscience told me and then showed me and inevitably reminded me. As I've gotten older, I've never doubted that inner voice again. When I was using, I wasn't even blessed with it anymore. I couldn't see or feel my own thoughts anymore. With that being said, Alpha House, 1 week. Every day I've been shown, I've been told, and yesterday I actually felt it. This was no coincidence. The night before, I gave up my free will. I begged God and His Son to help me make me a better man. To please forgive me for all that is wrong in my life, what I can remember and what I can't remember. I'm sorry. I see what you do for people who follow you, and then I feel it. It's something so new and so real, I can't help but to be blessed with another chance at life, a weight lifted, a clear path. No worries, no guessing. I truly give my all to whom knows my destiny. Thank you.
Sure, thank you for sharing that. A couple other things. We have Treasurer Zern. These guys, they do so many things. He's been kind enough to be working with us, and I believe your wife is actually a professional counselor who's been assisting. You want to
Yeah,
share
I'd like
any
to say a few words.
your personal experience or thoughts?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I'd like to say how this all started was my wife, who was a drug and alcohol counselor, contacted me about the Genesis Center and the Alpha House program that's at Cedar Hill, which that's where the proposal is. And I reached out to Commissioner Hammercheck, and we went out and we visited Alpha House, and we saw all the good that it was doing. We actually took time to talk to some of the men that were recovering there from their addiction and heard their experiences on how this has impacted their lives. It's changed their lives. These men that we talked to, they were completely broken. They ruined every relationship. They had nowhere to go. This was their last chance. And after talking to them and talking to some of the men who actually recovered, and they have a job and they have a girlfriend, and some of them had a child, and you hear the story and you connect the dots on the impact this has on a community where not only jobs with taxes, I collect the taxes, I'm the treasurer, but just to rebuild relationships and a foundation for a community. There's so many different aspects of this that are so important that we should support this. Actually expanding Cedar Hill to help more people in Lake County recover from addiction. That is the bottom line, but the premise of what that does to our county is amazing. It just has so many positive effects. So I am grateful for my wife for introducing me to Pastor Meriham and Mr. Allegra, and also Commissioner Hammercheck, and all the work that he has done going out to this facility, and all the hard work really he has done to get it to this point. Thank you. And this is a wonderful, wonderful program that is right here on Vrooman Road in Painesville that I didn't even know about. I've lived here my whole life. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Allegra.
Thank you. I'm going to take a page out of our engineer's book, though. I'm just facilitating, helping bring all the wise people together. It's definitely an exciting prospect. I believe the model that you're following breaks that cycle. We get people just get in this downward spiral, and candidly, I think it's safe to say you have to meet people where they are, and that's one of the things that impressed me about your program is you meet people where they are. If they step out of the program for circumstances, they're welcome to come back, demonstrate sincerity, but that's part of the life cycle. And some people, it's a life sentence for them. They're going to be dealing with mental health, addiction issues their entire life, and your program respects that and addresses it. And the possibility of a 100 bed, and if I could just add one other thought while I've got the moment, looking at a future female facility, separate location, but lessons learned here being applied to be helping treatment on the female side. So if you want to add to any of that, I give you high praise for all that you're doing.
Thank you. And as we talked earlier a few weeks back, we are looking to put a female facility and will not be on the same site. And as I explained to you, it's hard to manage women and men on the same site. You could just imagine that in your head. So we are working on that facility. It probably will not be in Leroy, but it'll be nearby so we can use the same counseling camp, etc. Anything else? We could go on for hours talking about what we do there and what we want to do there, but...
Well, Commissioner Young, Commissioner Plechnik, I know you're both passionate and supportive of programs like this. This is a proper venue for us to talk more than just concepts. So lessons learned, and we got people out there doing the Lord's work. So thoughts?
I'm extremely impressed and enthusiastic. You know better than I do, the opioid epidemic it's a killer. I was talking to our coroner this last week, and he was saying it's the biggest cause of accidental death in Lake County now. And for the age group 18 to 60, it's the biggest cause of death. So something has to be done, and what you're doing sounds fantastic. How is your organization funded now, if I could ask?
We are pretty much funded as private donations. So we've raised several $1 million over the last few years that's been dumped into the existing camp facility. Most of the land's been donated by the Allegra family, and most of the work that beyond the funding is done by the Allegra family. We are now put for a big push to go on for expansion. Of course, to do our expansion, we got to get Leroy zoning and Leroy the commissioners on board to expand, because they have us limited at 36 beds right now. But, you know, I think if it's doing good, I don't see why the community wouldn't want that expansion to happen. As I talked, we want to develop the site too, bring a roadway in there and get some other business opportunities rolling in too, so that the site can start generating revenue also for the township as their master plan calls for. So apparently right now we have a lot going on, a lot of planning going on, but we'd like to make the expansion happen, and we are going to be running another big fundraiser. The last fundraiser raised us about $500,000. We're pushing for a couple million on the next one. You know, it's been tough. COVID's been a tough time to raise money. You couldn't have functions, you couldn't have parties, you know. People like to come to these parties, listen to speeches, stuff. So you're trying to do a Zoom, or you're trying to do it via just emails or begging for money, and it's a hard thing to do. So it's really kind of hindered our whole plans the last couple of years.
Well, it sounds like you're still making progress. So
We're pushing ahead.
anything we can do, I'm glad we're starting a discussion here today.
Thank you.
And if I could just add to that, Commissioner Young, keep in mind 36 bed, privately funded, no tax dollars going into this. So again, commendable. They're doing it the old fashioned way. And as Treasurer Zern, I got it right this time, pointed out, if you didn't know the facility was there, it's literally in a park-like environment, completely, you wouldn't know it's there. It's not viewable from the street, it's not viewable from the interstate, even with the leaves off the trees. So it used to be a seminary, was back, if I correct.
It was a campground for a Lutheran church.
Okay.
Prior to that, I think it was a Sherwin-Williams house that they had. They used to
one of the estates.
A lot of testing went on back there on paint for years. We had to do a nice little cleanup back there, but a lot of testing went on in the 50s and 60s back there. Paint samples, how they weathered in the shade, how they weathered in the sun, blah, blah, blah. But the Lutherans owned it since '63, I believe, and that's who we purchased the whole property from. It was basically a campground in the summertime only. In the wintertime, it was pretty much desolate, except for the pastor lived out there.
Gotcha. Commissioner Pleshnik, anything you want to answer?
Mr. President, seconding Commissioner Young's comments, I think that what we would like to hear from you, if you could share, is aside from as private citizens coming out and supporting your fundraisers, which I'm sure we will do, what more can the county do to help you in this work? So we have a sense of what you're looking for. One thought that comes to my mind is whether or not your facility is currently being funded in any way by Adams Board, and whether you're familiar with that function, because they are supposed to be contributing to drug and mental health treatment in the county. So I'm curious if you have a relationship with them yet, if you're familiar with them.
We have stepped aside from the Adams Board because we're trying to run a faith-based community. And no disrespect to anybody here, but when you bring the government involved into these camp facilities, it starts changing the whole logics and logistics of how you operate it. And the problem with that is when you go to the government facilities, they got about a 33% rate of a success rate. Sorry.
On a good day.
You know, we're pushing at about 65% right now, just starting off, and we're shooting for 80. Most private faith-based ones are shooting high 80s for a turnaround. You know, you lose a lot of people in the first 3-4 days because nobody wants to go through that regiment. Counseling, you got to get up in the morning, you got to go to bed at night, you have to go to lunch at a certain time, you got to go to dinner at a certain time. But you got to get everybody back into a regimented life, because if you don't, they don't know how to go out in the world and survive anymore. So the problem we have right now is, you know, we would love to have a ton of government money. It's being thrown at us all the time. The problem is, it changes the rules a lot, you know, and that's the hard thing, because we pick and choose our candidates, you know, not by, you know, race, color, you know, Italian, Irish, you know, we pick and choose by who really truly wants to be saved. And that's hard to pick, and that's why there's a turnaround, because people come in there and they'll give us a good spiel about why they need this place for themselves, and then 3-4 days later, they're calling for, or we're calling for a car for them to take them back where they came from, because they don't want to work the program. You have to work the program, because you have to go back out in society and get a job, or get married, or start living on your own again and stay away from drugs. That's the hardest thing. So We would love all the government money we can, but everybody understands that there's two different sides of that. Their biggest thing here is we're using 10,000 gallons of water roughly a week with 36 beds, 2 directors on staff, and 7 residents living there to work the facility. So you go to a 100-bed facility, it's going to probably be closer to 125 people there. Just take that number and triple it a day. So, and we're triple it a week, and we're trucking that water in right now. We have our own water system. Good thing is we have 10,000 gallons in the ground, so we can keep replenishing it every 3 days. It keeps getting filled up, and we have our own sewer treatment plant, which is another project that's being designed right now to be expanded because we don't see sanitary sewer come to that area, maybe ever. Jim might maybe know more about that than me, but we're hoping water one day will come that way. Even if it doesn't go down to Leroy where they don't want it, but Vrooman Road could really turn around with water there. There's a lot of opportunity. Of course, all the industrial and commercial land on the east side of Vrooman I own from Carter 290. And it's hard to sell a deal to somebody without water. They like my water systems, but they're hesitant, especially if they need a sprinkler system in, because there's where we got to put a big water reserve up, and it's very expensive. So water is one of our key factors for expansion, along with development of Vrooman Road.
Do you work with other groups like Hope Over Heroin, for instance? I did a lot of work with groups like that when I was in Columbus on these types of issues, and their rate was about 60 to 80% as well, faith-based organizations. And they had the same problem with government funding that you're describing. But are you interfacing with a network of
Yeah,
other
I'm gonna let Mark speak, but we do interface with a lot of other groups, because sometimes they'll say, hey, we have 2 candidates, we can't get in, can you take somebody to your facility? But, it's hard to get other groups to share their fundraising money too, because, everybody wants to hold on to their own money. I mean, it's just like, what it's all about when it comes to money. If they're successful in raising a few extra 100,000 a year that they need, they hate to give it up and help out somebody else. But Mark can give a little more detail on that.
To address both the Adams Board and Hope Over Heroin, I have, and Brian Wade, who's the gentleman that we've partnered with as far as the programs section of the Alpha House program, we have worked with Hope Over Heroin. We know those folks and we love what they're doing as well. As it relates to this being our first year, we haven't done anything socially outside of just trying to get us established first. Once we get that foundation laid, I'm sure there'll be opportunities presented. We do work with one gal who does a jail ministry, and she comes in, brings musicians in, and attends our chapel and provides a service. So that's the only thing we're doing currently, but there are other opportunities, but we wanted to make sure we had a solid foundation first.
Very good, thank you.
While you're there, if we could address the issue, you had mentioned about being selective, but I'm just going to say it a little different way. Again, meeting people where they are. There's the difference between being an enabler, which a lot of systems enable bad behavior. You're dealing with people that are ready for life, who are breaking that cycle, getting them out of that environment and away from getting away from those folks that were causing that life crisis, if you will. That's one of the things that really impressed me about, again, take people from the environment where they're having challenges with their so-called friends, the dysfunctional family units, the neighborhood in general, getting them into a different environment so they can get right with their head. Could you come, again, allowing people to exit the program but come back in again if they're ready?
Sure.
Expand on that a bit, please.
Absolutely. So with the program, we realize we're not dealing with just the resident that comes. Oftentimes it's the ripple effect and you're dealing with the family. So we do allow visitations. So it's those times that I may sit with a family and find out their backstory and what their environment is. And so we don't just deal with just the candidate and our resident, but we try to talk with the parents and the support system and staff as well. As far as selecting, we're not a medical facility, so there are some folks we just can't receive. It's not prudent for us. So in our intake process, we get a backstory of the individual, whether they're capable. When it comes to dual diagnosis, we can receive some based on their diagnosis and their chemical dependency, and if they're under doctor's care and if they have the right prescriptions necessary. Then we fall into some of our residents choose not to take their medication. Well, it's at that time we discharge them to go get back into their protocols, and then once they're done, we bring them back to our facility. We have a gentleman out for such a reason right now. Obviously, there's some limitations as to some folks that we just won't take. If they are medically capable, we're not a medical facility, so we can't help in that way.
Thank you for clarifying that and adding to it.
Yeah.
Very good. Gentlemen, anything further? All right, well, thank you so very much for presenting today. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're still in our first public portion. I don't believe we have any other presentations today. Do we have anyone from the public wishing to address the board at this time? Anyone wishing to address? No takers? Okay, Madam Clerk, moving on to the first agenda item, please.
In the engineer's office, resolution to advertise for bids for roadway materials 2022 for the Lake County Engineers Road Department, LCE project number 2022-002, bid opening March 16, 2022.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Jim, just pretty basic stuff?
Yeah, this is an easy one. This is our annual, looking for updated prices for our general maintenance program.
Very good. Further discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $778,653.75 for Hazel Avenue Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation Project number 402S, and advertising for bids for the same, bid opening March 23rd, 2022.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Bell Environmental Engineering Incorporated for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Bell Environmental Engineering Incorporated for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Solid Waste Operating Fund and Project Fund 597.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid water and sewer sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution assigning authority to Suzanne Kazar, Director of Job and Family Services, to act as the Lake County Board of Commissioners designee for approving inter-county adjustments of allocated funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Suzanne, that's a little bit of a mouthful. For those who may not know what that means, you want to share?
Sure. This is related to our public assistance programs. Within the state of Ohio, every Job and Family Services receives an allocation to administer those public assistance programs, and there are times where a county may use all of their funds and could request additional funds from other counties throughout the state that will not be using all of their funds, and vice versa. So this resolution today would give me the authority to request funding from other counties if Lake County is in need of additional funds, or provide funding to other counties if requested.
And as an example, TANF dollars, that type of funding?
Correct.
Sometimes we give it, sometimes we take it.
Correct.
Okay, and that's, again, past practice.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Anything further? Thank you, ma'am. All right, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And the Commissioner's Office, resolution declaring the intent of the Board of Lake County Commissioners to approve the vacation of 982.06 feet of Old Vrooman Road in Leroy Township and 2,454 feet of Vrooman Road in Perry Township.
Move to approve?
Second.
And discussion. Hang on, I just want to read the... Okay, just want to make sure those, we're not going to get in trouble over .30 feet, are we? I'm looking at legal on the 2,454, on our public hearing it was 2,454.30. I'm looking at legal,
I'm not concerned with that at all.
that's
There's
not
no
a
problem.
material. Okay, I'm looking at the hey, come on, Commissioner Young is holding our feet to the fire. He doesn't want to screw up several $1 million over .30 feet. Let's get it
I'm
right.
watching. I'm watching.
Okay,
0.3
so-
feet are valuable to me.
So let the record show our intent is to adhere to the public hearing, blah, blah, blah. How's that? Because it does say it down here a little further in the body of the document. Okay, any other discussion? All right, with that, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you.
Resolution authorizing the Lake County Board of Commissioners to enter into a federal equitable sharing agreement with the United States Department of Justice and the United States Department of the Treasury on behalf of the Lake County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the Lake County Narcotics Agency to receive federally forfeited property and/or funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Dave, did you want to comment on that?
It's an annual resolution that's passed every year that allows the Narcotics Agency as well as the Prosecutor's Office to participate in this program.
And that's a recognition of the activities of both bodies in conjunction with federal assets and other regional.
Correct. Yes.
Very good. Anything else? Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the Lake County Administrator to approve the procurement guidance document for the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. I know it says 22, but it's 21.
Thank you. Let the record show the same, right?
Yes.
Part of our discussion, or at least description. Okay, do we have a motion to approve same?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution to accept the proposals from Lexisnexis Vital Check Network Incorporated and Equivant ePay Plus to provide financial transaction devices services to accept payments for certain county expenses.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm getting it in stereo here.
Commissioner
Identity
Plechnik.
crisis?
Well, I just respect Commissioner Young so much that sometimes I see myself in his shoes. But yes,
My identity is sacred to me, so.
I'll stand back.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $806,531.50.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $3,685,953.08.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move. Go ahead.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Very good, thank you. Moving on to our departmental reports. Utilities.
Thank you, Commissioner. An update on our proposed Kirtland Sanitary Sewer assessment project. We're closing in on the final design and cost estimate for that project and expect to hold a public hearing sometime around mid-May. So over the next month or so, we'll start collecting some dates where everyone's available to hold that public hearing.
Very good. And if I could again say thank you to you regarding House Bill 422 that would put a structure in place that could make it almost impossible to recover unpaid water and sewer bills. Your very thoughtful analysis is proving to be valuable to the County Commissioners Association, their lobbying effort to take a position on it. The impact to Lake County, as I recall, would be approximately $1.5 million, just as an example of how it would impact Lake County.
Could be, yeah.
And that was, that made quite the impact on our folks down at Columbus. So we're going to be bringing that forward, and I believe we're going to be having further discussion, but I want to thank you so much for being on top of that and being so thoughtful and detailed.
You're welcome.
Anything else for utilities? Okay. Job and Family Services, Suzanne.
Good morning. Today I wanted just to provide a brief update regarding our public assistance programs, primarily related to food assistance and cash assistance. The number of new applications for those programs are still very high, higher than pre-COVID. So I want to acknowledge the hard work of my staff processing those applications and trying to get needed resources out to members of the community. I also wanted to share that at Job and Family Services, we do have an employment incentive program for those individuals who qualify. To qualify for the program, individuals must have minor children living in the home or be pregnant. And that program provides a $750 payment for individuals who have maintained employment for 90 days prior to submitting the application. Unfortunately, participation in this program has been very low, so we are continuing to get word out to members of the community and our community partners to try and increase participation in this program specifically. And then lastly, I just wanted to provide a reminder about the Foster Parent Association fundraiser that is happening this Monday, February 28th. This is going to be a fundraiser with Livera. Livera will be donating a portion of funds for every meal purchased back to the Foster Parent Association. So a very important cause. Pickup of dinners can be at Job and Family Services in Painesville or Willoughby Hills. More information could be found at livera.com/foster.
Excellent. Question on the low participation concern. Is it a lack of awareness, community engagement, lack of need? What's your thought on that?
Well, it could be a combination of those things. I mean, certainly we've been doing our due diligence to make this program available. You know, our staff members are sharing this information with the clients that we are serving, which is thousands of clients. So it's hard to determine what exactly is causing the low participation at this point.
Gotcha. But your efforts are centered around pretty much an all-cause effort, just to address each one as best possible. Gotcha. Okay, very good. Gentlemen, anything?
Mr. President?
Sir.
I would just say sometimes with these fundraisers, it's a 5 or a 10% contribution, but the flyer itself shows that a third of the money actually does go to the Foster Parent Association. So Livera is being very generous here. And just want to say, for anyone who hasn't had Livera, it's one of the finest catering restaurant facilities in all of Lake County, let alone Willoughby Hills. So many thanks to them for contributing. But it's a very meaningful contribution. It's not just 5 or 10%.
Very good. Thank you. All right, moving on to County Administrator Jason Boyd.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just a very brief update that the County Commissioners and the review team continue to analyze the RFQs and interviews of potential design architects for the proposed Lake County Public Safety Center. Hoping to have that process wrapped up in the next week or two. So that concludes my report.
Very good. Anything for Administrator? Jason, thank you. Yep. Madam Clerk.
I bet you're never going to guess what I'm going to report. The The next commissioners meeting is going to be next week, Thursday, March 3rd, 10 a.m. here in Chambers.
Very good, thank you, ma'am. Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. All right, do we have any old business come before this board? Any old business? None being heard? New business. Do we have any new business?
Mr. President,
Sir.
I just want to commend our Lake County Treasurer, Mike Zurin, on working with the Commissioner's Office to host the very first Lake County Business Roundtable yesterday morning. It was a very impactful meeting. President Hamercheck and I were both there, and we saw a wide variety of businesses, from a dance studio to a pizza shop to one of the most advanced manufacturing facilities in the world, Micro Labs of Mentor, and to hear perspectives from these very different businesses and their needs and how they intersect with Lake County local government and leadership was just an incredibly valuable thing. I look forward to many more productive meetings in the future, but I want to really thank our treasurer for bringing us together, because it was an important moment in Lake County. And I know Mr. Felton's curious. We'll be getting you a press release in the very near future talking about some of the finer details. But I've already had many people ask, when is the next meeting, because they found it to be so valuable.
Well, thank you.
Very good. All right, any other new business? Okay, moving on to our second public comment portion of our meeting. Do we have anyone in the audience wishing to address the board? Anyone at all? All right, very good. Well, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second, there you go. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hamercheck.
Yes. This meeting stands adjourned. Thank you for joining us today.